Hello, my wonderful listeners. Thank you for joining me. This is your life coach, Vanessa Lake. The name of the show is Love is Power. And today's topic is If I Had Your Eyes. The songs and videos I use for my show will be posted below with links. Now, you're going to say the creed. So we're about to say the creed, and I would definitely like you to repeat after me. All right? Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Okay, let's go. Love is power. I am love. I love myself. Love is my power. I will use my power to heal and better myself. I will share my power with those who are worthy. No one can take my power from me. No one can diminish the power that my Creator has given to me. I know what I am. I am love. I am light. I am powerful. Love is power. If you repeated the creed with me, thank you so much. And again, today's topic is If I Had Your Eyes. So many of us need the right knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, as well as guidance, peace, love, and happiness. But how do we experience such blessings? Well, today we're going to partake in some spiritual food and enlightenment, and I need you to please, as usual, open your heart, open your mind, and understand that balance is essential to one's being. Now, the Spirit of God's love lives in all of us, or does it? I've heard many were called, but few are chosen. What exactly does that mean? For now, I want you to focus on those who have the Spirit of the Creator in them, but the light and the love within is dimmed. It could have been dimmed by life's trials and tribulations, the hurt that you have felt, the fear that you go through, the confusion, etc. How is it that God is love and love heals, yet some humans are afraid to let love in? Is it because they've been hurt and do not want to be hurt again? So in turn, they will quicker hurt you before you hurt them? Also, there are those who have never been hurt, but they do not trust. They are guarded, yet they still eat, pray, laugh, sex, and reside with you. They even go as far as to have a child or children with you. How is it that you do not want to love or trust, but in the same token, you're putting your life in someone else's hands? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of you are having unprotected sex. So let me get this straight. You don't want to love. You don't want to respect. You don't want to understand. But you will still go in someone or have someone come inside of you unprotected. You're actually putting your life in that person's hands. It's baffling, isn't it? They will chance their body, but not their heart. The hardest thing is to love yourself, but why? Now, I'm not naive. I know there's a lot of evil in the world. There are a lot of evil people out there as well. I understand. And I know that we need to, protect ourselves. Is there a cloak that we can use for ourselves from the evil? I know it is hard to be a nice person to people who have wronged you, but always remember there's two sides to every story. What if we saw things through God's eyes? God, if we had your eyes, would we understand and accept more? If we had your eyes, would we appreciate more? If we had your eyes, could we be more patient when something doesn't go our way? If we had your eyes, would we worry less and have more faith? Would we be able to be in and stay in a situation that serves us? Would we be able to be with or around people that deserve us? Would we be able to love and be loved in a healthy manner? What would you do if you needed to get the right job, the right career? What would you do? Would you have faith? Would you perceive, believe, and achieve that it can happen? Would you listen to the inner voice that God is talking to you inside of you, that very low, low voice? Or would you go on your own understanding? And then when things don't work out, you're stressed. What if I could tell you you could have a peaceful, loving life, but because of how you have been programmed by your parents, your family, your friends, as well as your enemies, you got off the course. And no one, including yourself, realized or cared to get you back on track. Accept your Creator, but you live loud, so you cannot hear or you ignore the voice within. You are too busy to feed yourself with spiritual food every day. Yet, you're the first one to say, why me? Why is my life like this? What did I do to deserve this? I have a question for you with all due respect. What did you do to avoid it? My perception from how it has served me in my life, I truly, truly believe love is key. I believe it is the answer and the solution. Do you think it would help you go through life easier and more peaceful if you invest in the love of self and you had tools of spiritual enlightenment? Well, we're going to find out tonight. Let us embark on this journey together. I believe in you. And I also believe that if you change your perception, you can change your world in time. Patience is key. It's not going to happen overnight. I believe that if you saw things differently, you could, just not get angry so quickly. There's people out there that kill and lie and cheat and rob and steal. Imagine if you were empathic or if you had God's eyes and you felt your coworker's energy and it was really negative and he or she was really snappy and they just had a negative energy that day. What if you knew what they were going through beforehand? And when they acted the way that they did, you didn't take it to heart. You didn't get upset because you already knew that even though they weren't right for acting that way, you kind of understood why they acted that way. It's a big difference. So hopefully we can plant some positive seeds. And I want you to understand that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. It does not mean you are weak. I'm not saying if someone does you wrong to just stay there and smile. I am saying to forgive them, forgive yourself, pray for them, and sometimes leave them alone. You do not ever have to even see that person again if you can help it. Do not become a prisoner of negative thoughts and feelings. The enemy will try to block you at every turn. Have you ever tried to understand the other person's point of view? If someone said something to hurt you, sometimes they're in turmoil and they're just lashing out. Without getting upset, you can simply ask them, why are you saying hurtful things to me? That's not nice. Or you can say, I don't know what made you say that, but it will be the last time. I will not let you disrespect me. You don't even have to get in a disrespectful war with them. Two wrongs do not make a right. Try to be nicer to people. Try to be nicer to yourself. Even when they are mean or nasty, you know what? You can ignore them. You don't always have to win a fight. You don't always have to put someone in their place. Always try to put your feet in someone else's shoes, or be patient, or just pray and stay away. There's some people in life, you see them, and they have a certain disposition where they're just angry all the time, whether they're smoking or drinking, or they just lash out at people. They just have a nasty attitude, like they have a cloud over them. And you wonder why. I'm not picking up for them, but sometimes these people never had someone say, I believe in you. I trust you. I love you. Someone never hugged them. Someone could have just died in their family. Their child could be dead or sick, or they just lost their house, or they don't have any money to make the next payment. or their bank account is in negative, or they don't know when they're going to get their next meal, or they just got in a car accident last week and they don't have a car anymore, so they're taking the transportation every day. Again, I'm not saying that they have a right to be nasty or mean. I'm just saying you never know. Try to be a little bit more considerate. As long as they're not touching you and drawing blood from you or hurting your young, it's just words. If they have an attitude, misery sometimes loves company. Don't equal their energy. Negative, if someone's negative with you, be positive with them. It doesn't cost anything. Sometimes just be silent. I remember one time I was sitting in my car waiting to go into work. I was like a half an hour early. And I was just sitting in my car and I was drinking, I made some kale and spinach and some fruits. And I was just drinking it, feeling great. I was on high vibration. And I had my door open because it was really, really hot. It was humid. And this guy, out of all the space in the parking lot, he decided to come towards my door and not stop and say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, can I get through?" He didn't do that. You know what he did? He pushed my door, closed it. Thank God my leg wasn't there. He pushed my door just so that he can pass. Now, me being me, I know better. I know Satan is busy. I know that negativity is there. But my human side wanted to set him straight. Like, "Excuse me." You could have said, "Excuse me." Or, "Who are you touching?" My door. You know, I could have said anything. I could have did anything. I just sat there and I let the burn come in. It did burn me. It did. And it came. And guess what? It went. It didn't go that easy, but it came. I would say less than 5 minutes, it came because I wanted to go after him. I wanted to say, "Excuse you," I wanted to crack that whip. But I just stayed silent. Now, that does not mean that I'm a punk, because anyone that knows me knows that I'm not. I don't accept disrespect in any way, shape, or form. However, I grew. Because I am a life coach and I do help people. And guess what? The same way I'm honoring you, I get honored. No one is perfect. No one is better than anyone else. We need each other. And sometimes someone doesn't take the time to feed us positivity or spiritual enlightenment. And that is what I'm doing, because every day it can be a battle. But the tools that I have is what helps me. Now, I could want to go after him, but what happened if he just lost his mom? What if he just lost his dad and he's not thinking, he's in the energy of rage or he's upset? What if his child is in, what do they call it, ICU? Now, I'm not saying what he did was right, but I'm saying I can understand just a little bit more. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be a little bit more understanding if you can. I'm not telling you to have people walk over you. I would never say that. But I want you to listen to this song. Of course, it's always the topic. It's called "If We Had Your Eyes." I want you to take time and listen. This is your host, your life coach, Vanessa Lake, on Love is Power. And the topic is "If We Had Your Eyes."
Can you spare some change? It's what I heard him say at the light. So I dug through my ashtray. My good deed today changed my life. love better, have more compassion, and I would understand what I'm going through while I'm going through. I'd be more patient. God help me to see things the way you see things. Did I already say, help me to be patient? Say that again. Wow. Give us your eyes, God.
Thank you so much for listening to that. So if we can only see things from God's point of view, if we can only have his eyes, I mean, imagine how much your life would be easier, more loving, more peaceful. I want you to remember the show the next time, or remember me the next time someone gets on your nerves or gets you upset or you get agitated, or even if you're the person that's being mean. It goes on both sides, the giver or the receiver. I want you to take a deep breath. I know you're going through a lot, but it's not right for you to inflict your pain on someone else and vice versa, you know? And the whole world does it. There's bullies. I don't need, that's another show. So I want to read some quotes I really, really like. One is from Roy T. Bennett. The outer world is a reflection of the inner world. Other people's perception of you is a reflection of them. Your response to them is an awareness of you. Wayne W. Dyer, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. I'll say that again. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. C.J. Jung, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. And my personal favorite from Oprah Winfrey, be thankful for what you have. You end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. I'm going to repeat that. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. Now, that means to be grateful, to be appreciative. It's very important to be grateful. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. You will always seek more because there's a void. Now, there's a particular poem that I've had in my life for over 20 years, and I wanted to share it with you. I was going to tell it to you from, just me not reading it, but I'm going to read it to you. A woman came out of her house and saw 3 old men with long white beards sitting in front of her house. She did not recognize them. She said, I don't think I know you, but you look hungry. Please come in and have something to eat. Is your man of the house home? They asked. No, she said, he's out. Then we cannot come in, they replied. In the evening, when her husband came home, she told him what had happened. He said, okay, go tell them and invite them in. The woman went out and invited the men to come in. We rarely go into a house together, they replied. One of the old men explained, my name is Love. His name is Wealth, pointing to the man, and his name is Success, pointing to the other man. Then he added, now go in and discuss with your husband which one of us can come into your home. The woman went and told her husband what was said. Her husband was overjoyed. How wonderful, he said. Since that is the case, let us invite Wealth. Let him come in and fill up our home with wealth. His wife disagreed. My dear, why won't we invite Success? Their daughter was listening from the other room. She jumped up in her own suggestion and said, would it not be better to invite Love? Our home will be filled with love. Let us heed our daughter's advice, said the husband to his wife. Go out and invite Love to be our guest. The woman went out and asked Love to come home. The woman went out and asked Love to please come into their home and be our guest. Love got up and started walking towards the house. The other 2 men also got up and followed him. Surprised, the lady said, I only invited love. Why are wealth and success coming in too? The old man replied together, if you had invited wealth or success, the other two of us would have stayed behind. But since you invited love, wherever love goes, we follow. Isn't that amazing? Specifically said, if they had picked wealth or success, love would have never followed. But because you pick love, everything comes with love. Always remember love first. If you want wealth and success, it's okay. It'll follow. Now let me ask you a question. Who would you have invited into your home? Can you answer that? Out of love, wealth, and success, don't be shy. Who would you have picked? Sometimes in life, I understand that it's really difficult to love yourself. I get it. I understand it. But understand, it doesn't matter how much you work out or how healthy you eat. If you are not feeding and exercising your spirit, you're going to feel run down and tired. You're going to do more than just care for your body. You got to energize your spirit. And the best way to do this is to invest in yourself with God's guidance. I need you to understand that. Now, many of us have heard of Mother Teresa, right? When she started her ministry in India, in the city of Calcutta, she saw many people dying of leprosy. One day she was walking in the street and she saw a man with leprosy lying in the gutter. Because his disease was so advanced, he smelled bad. His hands and legs were rotten. Even his nose and ears had rotted off. And a lot of flies were swarming around him. Our first response might have been to run away, like, run, Forrest, run, like, ew, get out of here, and just run. Maybe she experienced the same revulsion, but all of a sudden she felt a completely different force driving her towards that man. Impelled by the Spirit, she went to him. Looking into his dying eyes, she hugged and embraced him. She actually embraced this man, and she cared for him. She took him in and cared for him. Mother Teresa saw that dying man in God's eyes. The force moving her heart of love was stronger than the disgusting feeling that came from seeing his rotting flesh and him smelling so bad. She was able to physically reach out and embrace him. That's God's love. God could see his own image in his dying eyes through Mother Teresa. Sin must be so dirty, so smelly in God's eyes. When God sees us as sinners, surely he can perceive the stinking smell of sin, of death that we all have on us. But why didn't he give up on us? Especially when we were committing sin. Because we're all flawed. We're all sinners. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. If he had forsaken us, we would not be here. None of us would be here. The fact that you're here means a lot. No matter how sinful or dirty we have been in God's eyes, he's never given up on us. And I want you to understand that. Whatever you've done or whatever you've been through, God is here for you. And I always say this in my show. I know a lot of people do not believe in God. And I personally am not religious. I'm spiritual. But you must understand that there's a higher power. If you don't want to use the word God, fine. A higher power, in essence, the reason for you being here, your creator, whatever it is. If you feel alone, understand you're not alone. And I want you to one day read the poem Footprints. It's a beautiful poem. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could pull up Footprints for you right now, if you don't mind. Footprints. Bear with me. Footprints poem. All right, because I think it's a beautiful poem. I really, really do. Okay, so I found it, and thank you for your patience. One night a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking alone on the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashes scenes of his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand. One belonged to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back. and in the footprints in the sand, and he noticed that not many times along his path of his life that there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that this happened at the very lowest and saddest times of his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned, Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you would walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during those most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. And the Lord replied, my precious, precious child, I love you. I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. I want you to understand that God really loves you, and we just want you to love yourself. That's very important. All right? And I'm going to play a song. Let me cue it up for you. Now, this is called Say Yes. We're going to lighten up the atmosphere a little. Or maybe I should read this to you first because it'll probably be devastating to some of you. So hold off on the song 2 seconds, and let me read this real quick. A brother I knew once told me in his testimony just before he went to church, his spiritual senses were partially opened, and he could see the spirit world. He told me that one day when he met his boss, an executive of a big construction company, externally the man was a capable person, and he was very dignified, but in the internal life, he was dirty and corrupt, especially in his relationships with women. When this young man, brother, looked at his boss, he looked like he had rotten flesh and a snake twisted around him. He was so scared. Right after that, he quit his job and joined the church. Later, he was witnessing on the streets of Tokyo, where there were many women walking dressed very beautifully, and they were gorgeous. However, he could see the dirtiness of their spirits. See, this guy had a spiritual awakening. Like, he can see things that regular people cannot see. It was a gift. He was spiritually open. But if you can actually see the spirits of the people, you wouldn't even want to walk next to them in Tokyo. That's how nasty it was. The reality is an illusion. The truth is you cannot love others effectively if you cannot love yourself entirely. And I want you to understand that. These people have so much negativity inside of them. And don't forget, I say this on almost every show. It's not just them being negative. Sometimes people are possessed. Sometimes there's demon energy around them. Sometimes there's negative energy around them, evil energy around them. Sometimes they're just spoiled. Sometimes they're just plain nasty. And you don't want to deal with these people. And if one of you are listening and you're one of those types of people, you have a choice to change. Okay, so I'm going to play this next song finally. And again, it's called Say Yes. And thank you for letting me read again to you. They were like, I thought she was going to play the song. I just wanted to read that to you really, really quick. And this is Say Yes. Please listen, open your mind and your heart. This is Vanessa Lake with Love is Power. And the topic today is If We Had Your Eyes.
When Jesus said yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus
Thank you for listening. So you see why I didn't want to read that negative stuff after that beautiful song. So what I want you to know is a lot of people in my walk of life, they have said they don't believe in God, they don't believe in Jesus, and the white man and this, that, and the other. Listen, I'm not here to debate you. All I'm saying is something, some energy is responsible for your being, your mother and dad, your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, your ancestors. You understand where I'm going with this? We have babies that are born, that people are living, they're dying, the trees, the ocean, the mountains. Something is responsible for that. Okay? So I don't want to hear, "Oh, I don't believe in." Listen, okay, fine. But why is it that you don't believe in yourself? Why is it that you don't love yourself enough? Why is it that you can't be nicer to yourself? Be nice. One thing I can say is I have beautiful, wonderful clients that call me for assistance. Teamwork makes the dream work. And one thing I can say about each and every one of them, I have to knock on wood because they're really good. They listen. They listen. They want to do better. They want to be better. And that's a gift. We're honoring each other. It doesn't hurt to see somebody one day and say, "Good morning, have a blessed day." It could be a stranger. "Oh, I love that blouse. Oh, you look very nice in that suit. Love those shoes. Beautiful hair. Your daughter's so pretty. Your son is so handsome. Thank you. You're welcome." Try to honor someone every day. By honoring someone, you're honoring yourself. Look in the mirror. Wake up in the morning and say, "Thank you for giving me another day to get it right." If you are getting kicked out of your apartment, or you don't have any money and you need more money, if you want your own business but you don't have the capital for it, if you want a car but you don't have enough money, whatever it is that you want, if you remember what it said, if you choose love, success and wealth will follow. I'm telling you, it really will. The law of attraction will give it to you. And I know some of you that are in what they say the ghetto or the poor places, it's easier said than done. I get it. I understand. But you're not the first and you won't be the last. It's the reality that you bring forth for yourself to come out of that situation. If you don't like your story, rewrite it. And all I'm saying is, if you can pray on saying, "You know what? Whatever energy is responsible for me, could you please let me have your eyes so I can see, give me your perception so I know when I am," even with this show, when I first got presented with this show, this platform, was I nervous? Of course I was nervous. It's live. If I make a mistake, I can't edit. That was my human side. My spiritual side is, "Girl, please, you are not vain. It's not about you. It's about you changing someone's life. And so what if you make mistakes? So what? We all do." I had to talk and answer myself. And that is what I had said to you on many shows. Talk and answer yourself in full-blown conversations. No, I am not crazy. I am very sane, because sometimes fear talks us out or takes us out of the confidence realm. It doesn't mean that I don't have any situations. I don't call them problems. I call them situations that have to be overcome. It's not to say that I never have situations that I have to overcome. It's to say that I have tools to handle these situations. And that's why I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't, whore, I don't steal, I don't, I'm not a hypocrite. Because I've invested in myself, and it does not happen overnight. I am 42 years old, and I've been doing this since I was 9. Now, does that mean that it took me that long? No. But plant the seed today to be better so you can do better. Do better and you'll be better. Try to be more compassionate. I remember a time I seen somebody in a parking lot, and the person took the other person's took the other person's park. They were furious. I'm not saying that the person was right, but if you can just say, you know what, it's okay, let them have it. It meant that much to them, let them take it. You see traffic, you're aggravated because you're going to be late, leave a little earlier. Or if you left a little earlier and it's still traffic and you still might be late, guess what? You're alive, and at least you have a car to be in and have traffic, because there's some people that have to get up 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to get to their job for 8, 9 o'clock in the snow, in the rain, in the cold, in the heat. You in your car, you have air conditioning, you have heat. Yes, you have bills. You have to pay your gas and your well, I have Geico, but you have to pay your insurance. I understand that, but everything has pros and cons. Don't let those things bother you. Understand how blessed you are. A lot of homeless people, I sat down with a homeless man one time and I asked him, I was curious, what happened? He said that he lost his job and that most people are a paycheck or two away from poverty, because a lot of people don't save and they feel like it would never happen to them. And it happened to him. And he was devastated, and he did not have the means to do what he needed to do. So he lost everything. But what's even more important is that my spirit, I've helped quite a few people, and I'm sure you have too. But my spirit was led to talk to him, to ask him the question, what happened? This guy was very educated, speaks better than me. Seemed like he was positive, and he just got a bad break. And he said he knows everything will be better, while he had his cart next to him with his belongings. I didn't ask him about his family. I didn't want to get too deep into it. But sometimes it doesn't take a lot to just sit down. And I'm not saying sit down to, sit down with people. Some people are crazy. We want to be realistic. We don't want to be naive. Okay, that's even more reason for you to tap into your inner light, tap into the God within, so that you can speak and be able to discern who you can talk to, who you can approach. I got a green light from the Lord to go and speak to this person. And I'm glad that I did, because sometimes we don't want to be bothered with people. If we see a handicapped person, we shy away. We don't want to be bothered. They need love too. Some people automatically think, oh, the sins of the parents fell on the child. Oh, it's voodoo. It's this, that, and other. Sometimes it could be so many different things. I can't even count that high. But what does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you loving someone? Sometimes we have parents that we can't relate to. And I'm not saying, and we have parents that didn't love us. We have parents that beat us, treat us wrong, didn't guide us. I get it. Sometimes we have children that are rude. They're just obnoxious. I get it. But sometimes people do things to cry out for help. They get frustrated. Sit down with your child. Don't talk at your child. Talk to your child. How are you feeling? Are you okay? I'm here for you, right, if you ever want to talk. How was school today? What do you think about the work that they give you? With a parent, Mom, Dad, I'm getting older, and I believe that you raised me properly, and I really don't like the way that you speak to me at times. I notice that the way you speak to each other, you speak to me like that as well, and it's really not healthy for me. Now, you might get parents that are like, wow, okay, I'm sorry. Or you might get parents that say, boy, go sit down. Go pick up a book and read. Okay, if you have that situation, write a letter. Write a letter, slip it under their door. They may or may not read it. Make a copy of it so you can have it yourself. And you know what you do? You run to God. God, I let go and let God because I can't handle this. I can't handle my parents' or my children's addiction. I don't know what to do. My husband beats me. My wife beats me. Yes, men get beat too. Okay? Ladies, stop being abusive. Go get help. And I mean that in a respectful way. Understand that the person, if they have a lot of pain, they've been through a lot of things. Some people do not know how to handle situations. All they know how to do is lash out, drink, smoke. They fill that void. And that is why I love the creed where it says, love is power. I am love. I love myself. Love is my power. I use my power to heal and better myself. I will share my power with those who are worthy. That's a very important line. Every line is so important. I will share my power with those who are worthy. No one can take my power from me. I don't care what anybody has done to you. They cannot take your power away from you. They can mash up your flesh. But your soul, no, that is what you need to hold on to more than anything else. To the rape victims and the victims that have been molested, let me tell you right now, you are still worthy. You are still beautiful. Do not let your past dictate your future. They did it to your flesh, and I'm sorry, but you are still beautifully made. You still can become and do anything. Get help, seek help, forgive, let go, let God. Don't worry about what people can do to your flesh. It's your soul that you need to be concerned about. It's your spirit. Vanessa, I understand what you're saying, but you don't understand. I do understand. I have loved ones that have been there, done that, bought the T-shirt, wrote the book. I get it. Oprah has been raped. And still she is a champion and she has been victorious. And Oprah is one of the people that has taken the time to put her feet in other people's shoes and be more compassionate and giving and understanding when people were disrespectful towards her. Now, I'm not saying for you to allow someone to be disrespectful to you. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the minute you get upset, do you ever realize your heart beats faster? When you get upset, sometimes people, not to be nasty, they get diarrhea. It's a nervous reaction. Some people, when they get upset, their mouth gets dry. Some people, when they get upset, their head hurts. Was it really worth it to put your body through drama? And now your endorphins are not high like they should be. You're in a relationship and your significant other wants to argue. You let them know, listen, I don't know what your problem is. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. But you need to talk to me with respect because I'm talking to you with respect. You're yelling and doing it, and I'm just talking to you regular. If you keep talking to me like that, you're going to end up talking to yourself because I'm not going to be here. You show people how to deal with you. You lead by example. And you also ask them, why are you so angry? And you don't talk at them, you talk to them with respect and love. Because if you don't, the walls go up. Try to see from God's eyes. That's why the title is, If I Had Your Eyes. You can be able to see what that person is going through and deal with them accordingly. Because it's not fair for them to deal with you wrong and you're crying and your heart is aching. It's not fair to you. So now you have to make the decision, do I want to be here? Is it healthy for me to be here, or am I going to leave? You do your process of elimination. You communicate with the person. You put all your cards on the table. Look how many of you are cheating. You are literally going to hotels, cheating on your husband and your wives, cheating on your fiance, cheating on your boyfriend and girlfriend. It's ridiculous. But it's not that easy. I have children. Okay, all right. Not judging you at all. But where there's a will, there's a way. I would rather you not cheat. I would rather you not yell and get upset. I would rather you not hit. I would rather you not think that you're better than the other person. I would rather you be loving to yourself so that you're able to love someone else. There's something that I wanted to read for you. Let me pull it up. All right. So the reality to me is an illusion. The truth is you cannot love others effectively if you cannot love yourself entirely. It drains you, especially if there is no one loving you back in return. How could you give me something that you do not have? How could you give me something that you don't even want to give me in the first place? It has a negative energy attached to it. Now, let us talk about churchgoers. Okay, yeah, that's a big topic, right? And no offense if you're listening and you're a churchgoer, just calm. Remember, I told you don't anger quickly. Calm it down. Now, some churchgoers go into church and they come out more devious than they went in. How is that possible? Is it possible for non-churchgoers to be devious as well? Yes. It is easy. Some feel like it's difficult that they have certain things happen, like life mishaps in their life, and they don't have the tools, so they don't know how to deal with it, so they lash out. They are one of the first to get stressed, and their lack of faith is not present. Their lack of faith is present. You would think that their faith cup would overflow. The truth is, everybody and every day you need to feed your spirit with spiritual food, no matter where you go or who you are. Now, you can feed your body the wrong types of food and your body can still maneuver and move and do what it needs to do. But what happens in the long run is your skin shows what you've been putting into your body. That's how you see people with skin disorders or they're allergic, and the list goes on. It's because of the food that we're taking in, right? So, but in the long and short run, the food will show in your body through your eyes, your skin, your weight, the doctor's report, even through your behavior. The same thing with spiritual food. You can let the wrong things in and function, but when it really counts, how do you deal with life and its trials and tribulations? That shows that the wrong food that you put in your body, because there's good spiritual food and there's bad food, bad spiritual food. We don't want the bad. If you took the time to replenish your spirit and inhabit the right spiritual food when life happens, you are able to handle it better. You're more poised, confident. Fear is not dominant. Your faith grows every second. You know when and when not to be logical and emotional. You learn how to let go and let God, and that becomes your theme. And at the same time, you're getting to know God more because you're getting to know yourself, and you realize that even though He helps people, He loves to help people that help themselves. Investing in love, faith, patience, and understanding, knowledge, as well as knowledge, is very important. Building a healthy relationship with your Creator as well as yourself is essential. If we only had God's eyes to see things a different way, I want you to go get your life back. I want you to claim. I want you to claim what it is that you want. Get a vision board. Cut up pictures and put a house or a car or children or a book that you want to write or a movie that you want to direct. Have a vision board. Okay? And give people a chance to be themselves and not let that affect you. Pray for them. If they're not happy, maybe all they need is a hug, a smile, a pat on the back, maybe even a prayer. Don't condemn them. Misery loves company. We already know that. Go get your life and do what you need to do. Get away from negative people. Pray for them. But Vanessa, you're telling me to be compassionate and to understand where they're coming from. Yes, but I never said stay there and let their negativity dwell into your negativity, and now you're both negative. Sometimes you have to love people at a distance. There's a lot of power in prayer. Please don't put no limitations on what God can do. Because if you hang around, you know what, you'll start smelling like you know what, and you'll eventually turn into you know what. And you know what I mean by you know what. We don't want that. So I'm going to end off with go get it, because I want you to go get your life. I want you to go get your happiness. I want you to claim success. I want you to claim peace, happiness. I want you to know that you can be faithful to. I want you to know that you can be faithful. Clean out the negativity in your life. Leave room, leave it clean, leave it bare, leave it empty so something wonderful, someone wonderful can come in. Get rid of your negative soul ties. You don't need them. Understand that you are beautifully flawed. Understand that you have a light within. Understand that love is power. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my kings and queens, I really appreciate you listening to me every week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I truly appreciate you, and I don't take anything and no one for granted. From all four chambers of my heart, I am humbly appreciative and grateful for you all. And for the people that have not listened to the live show and they are going to listen to the playback, you rock. I love you and appreciate you as well. And please, give this show, any of my shows, to people that really need it. Spiritual food. And you don't even have to use my shows. Google. Go on YouTube. Read. Listen to the videos. If you need to be more disciplined, type in, I need more discipline, how to get more discipline, how to be in a relationship, how do I attract my wife, how do I attract a husband, how do I turn a bad relationship into a good relationship. I am not vain. You don't have to come to me, but go to someone. Go to God. This is Go Get It. Again, this is Vanessa Lake, Power, and I thank you so much for listening to If We Had Your Eyes. Now let me cue up this song for you. All right. Let me look for it. Go get it. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you.
It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be. Growing, getting better. You're not the person they see. Can't be mad at the things you've been through, 'cause they built your muscle. Now you're stronger than you've ever been. They can't stop your hustle. Your faith ain't never small. That's what brought you this far. See, you got your dreams and you got your prayers and you got your God. He gon' take you there. See, everybody has a season
All right, so go get your blessings and be a blessing. I love you. Have a blessed day, and thank you again so much for listening to Love is Power. Topic, If We Had Your Eyes. Bye-bye.